Hey guys, I'm back for another video. Today's video is going to be how to replace fuel lines on an Echo trimmer. Now this trimmer is the same trimmer I've used in the how to rebuild a carburetor video. If you want to see me go rebuild a carburetor on this trimmer, click up there. But now I'm going to change the fuel lines because they're nasty and I have to. Let's get to it. Alright, so the first thing to do here is probably a good thing. Probably go take the gas cap off right here. And then if you have a strainer here, or not a strainer, but a little thing that's keeping your gas cap from coming out, go ahead and put your finger in there and just pull on it. It'll come right out. And just go set that aside. From here, you can get access to the inside of your fuel lines here. And as you can see, here's my fuel filter. I can go ahead and pull that out. I don't really need to pull that out, and I'll tell you why in a second. But the first step in removing our fuel lines is I need to remove the fuel grommet. So in order to remove the fuel grommet, I literally need to get in there with a screwdriver and pry it out, just like that. Then I pull the fuel filter right out of there. Now, because this is a trimmer that's been sitting forever, you should probably go ahead and make sure there's nothing gooky in your gas tank. And just go ahead and clean just right around where that gasket would normally sit. Just like that. Now, Echo makes fuel line repair kits that you can get. I'm not sure about the part number, but I'll give it to you in this description. Nonetheless, they make fuel line repair kits that look something like this. This is what I'm going to use to repair my fuel lines with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the two fuel lines that are down here, these two fuel lines right here, right next to the fuel filter, these two fuel lines, and pull them up through the grommet so that they look like this. And they're just hardly sticking out, maybe an inch or two, okay? And then from there, you can go ahead and install this in your tank, put the fuel filter in, like that, and put your little gasket, or grommet, just set it on there. And now this part will take forever. This part is going to get some people mad, but what you have to do is you have to apply constant pressure to this grommet while prying down with a screwdriver. I'm going to show you a time lapse of it now. It's going to take me about 5 to 10 minutes. Alright, I've just finished here. That took me a lot less than 5 minutes. I'm surprised. But nonetheless, right here, you have to make sure that your grommet is completely flush with the bottom of your tank. And then from here, what you're going to want to do is size your fuel lines. So this filter line right here is supposed to go, this filter here is supposed to go right into this hole on the cover, just like this. And this fuel line is way too long. So I'm going to remove this filter and cut that line right there so it sits right in that filter holder perfectly. And your fuel line should sit in there perfectly. This is your vent. And then once you put your carburetor back on, you can go ahead and measure out the fuel lines when your carburetor is back on. So I'm going to go ahead and put the carburetor back on just to show you. So I'm just going to slide the carburetor on like this. Maybe I'll just tighten down the screws a little bit. There we go. And then once you're here, go ahead and look at the bottom there and notice how long it takes for those fuel lines to reach your carburetor. Once it's there, you can either mark it with a Sharpie or just cut them directly. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut them directly. What you can do is, if you want to cut it about here, measure it just a little bit longer, because sometimes your fuel lines, if you measure too short, you can't glue it back on, but if you measure too long, you can always cut the fuel line more. So, there you go. Those fuel lines are cut. Okay, once this is done, you're ready to put your fuel lines back on your carburetor. There's 2 holes on your carburetor, one bigger one smaller one. This black line here, which goes on your fuel filter, goes onto the bigger line, the port with the bigger hole. And the color line goes on the port with the smaller hole. And then you can just go ahead and screw your carburetor back on, and you've successfully changed your fuel lines on your Echo trimmer. Now, just a reminder, this method will work on all Echo trimmers. It will work on an SRM-210, and it will also work on the SRM-225 right there. Thank you very much for watching my tutorial. I hope this helped you very much, and I hope you were able to get your fuel lines on to your engine well. Thank you for watching this video, and happy engine repair. See you next time.